Hello, and thank you for joining this ConnectWise discussion about the perfect norm. I think all of us have used the example of a perfect storm, but it's a really good example where we have three or four different things that all seem to go wrong at once, and that creates an even bigger problem, whether that's an actual weather event or potentially connectivity problems with a disagreeable client on top of a potential security issue. We've all had those perfect storms. But what we want to talk about today is kind of the other side of the coin, which is what happens if you put a lot of good things together. And that's what we want to be the new perfect norm for our partners as we combine RMM and security and RPA and orchestration all underneath a single tool, a single platform within ASIO. So maybe I'll introduce myself. My name's Jason Short. I've been a part of ConnectWise for a couple of years, and I lead product management mostly for our UMM products. And so that's Automate, and RMM is getting a little bit more involved with RPA lately. And while I've only been at ConnectWise for a couple of years, I have been building security and device management tools for about 20 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but it has. As I said, what we want to focus on today is what's called the perfect norm. As we bring together RMM and RPA onto a single platform on ASIO, you really get to see the power of this ASIO platform that ConnectWise has been talking about for a couple of years. It first launched at the end of 2022 with the very first beta versions of RMM. Since then, both RMM and the ASIO platform have come quite a long way. And then on top of that, we have other natively built tools, mostly on the security side with vulnerability management and now Security 360. We also have some great new security tools that are coming out, and we'll hear a lot more about It's Secure. So I don't want to burst any bubbles, but some pretty exciting new security tools coming out at Secure. And as well as building bridges to some of our traditional products like Automate, building a bridge over into ASIO. And then lastly, rebuilding some of our core products like PSA to become a native ASIO experience. But what that ASIO experience brings is, besides just a common console, is common core objects like common companies and common sites, common devices and tickets. We're not syncing things back and forth between tools. We get to bring all these tools together to share all of those components. But also for technicians to be able to create that common security context. It doesn't matter if they're using RMM functionality or PSA functionality. Their security is, these are the clients that they are able to manage, or these are the data points they're able to see. And doing that all within one console gives us one more major advantage, which is orchestration. All of these types of tools have triggers and actions and data points, and we want to bring all those together in a way that helps you build true workflows. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And in a minute, I'll make myself smaller and we'll jump into the console itself so we can kind of go through a show and tell of really what the perfect norm is supposed to look like for MSPs. All right, now that you can see the console, this is ASIO. If you've never seen it before, this happens to be the Security 360 inside of ASIO. It's a common large console you can see with all sorts of pages, all sorts of tools on the left-hand side, but we're going to concentrate on a few today. But we'll start with the things that really help us have visibility into environment. So starting with security visibility, high-level overview of vulnerabilities and alerts and devices, with the ability to kind of dig down into those. What's been a health score, especially that health score over time? Be able to look at that across all companies or a specific company. Be able to understand the security status of endpoints, what is being protected, what's being managed, what's not. Understand email. Of that email that's coming in, how many are getting filtered out for spam? Looking at vulnerability in CVEs. Where do we have significant vulnerabilities that we might need to go take action on and patch even outside of defined patch windows? One of my favorites is actually on the training side. All of Security 360 is using either components that are just native to ASIO, like vulnerability management, or integrating with several third-party tools. That might be EDR tools or email security tools or training tools to bring all of that in live and let you manage it all in one place. Another great example of bringing all that data together is the backup dashboard. Really very similar. Almost every partner I've worked with over the last couple of years has at least a couple of different backup tools, and the ability to bring all of that data, normalize it across Axient and Acronis and a number of different vendors out there to look exactly what's happening in that environment, but bringing those together in a way that's actionable. It's actionable because it's all built on one ASIO agent. It's the same agent that powers RMM. So let's kind of look at some of the data that you get to see on that side. So we bring in kind of the normal device details and for workstations and servers and virtualization. We also look at what's managed in cloud environments like Azure, and the ability to say take actions like start, stop, restart some of these cloud workloads, or potentially with a deep integration to Aavik. Almost all of our RMM SKUs today have some amount of Aavik built in for network monitoring. For example, I'll just open up this storage to be able to go look at that device, see where it is in its topology view, where is it connecting to other devices. What's its kind of alerts and history that then push into ASIO. So bringing full visibility of all of those things together. Visibility is great, but visibility needs to be monitored. And so one of the other items I really wanted to hit is kind of that ASIO is not just a set of tools that are brought together under a common platform, but there's a lot of intelligence behind it. And there's a couple areas that I think really highlight that. Intelligent Alerts is our out-of-the-box set of monitors. For those who don't know, ConnectWise has a NOC that manages just about 1 million endpoints, and they have a whole team that is just dedicated to making sure that we have coverage over all of the critical platforms and hardware and software that our partners see in their client environment. So SQL or Active Directory or network monitoring, etc. Backup tools. Each of these are built, maintained, and tuned. And the really important part is tuned so that they're not creating excessive alerts. They're not creating excessive noise. They're alerting you when something's critical and not over alerting you when something's not. But to be able to take any one of those monitors and decide, what do I want to do with that ticket? Do I want to automatically run automation, which we'll talk about here in a second? Or do I want to specifically map these tickets into a very specific board within the PSA with a very specific type and subtype, but being able to configure that directly inside the monitor? There's all sorts of ways that you can build your own monitors, and it's a really great editor to do that. I don't think we have time to work through that today, but I really wanted to highlight that this platform, and the reason why this is the perfect norm is because it's not just a common platform, but it's powered by all of this intelligence and experience that our NOC has. One of the other areas that our NOC spends time on today is patch assessments. So this is Patch Tuesday week, and as Microsoft releases all of those patches on Tuesday, we will the ConnectWise NOC team will go through and heavily test every one of those security patches. We install them in different environments. We look at the conflicts with other tools, issues that we find. We report back to Microsoft. Sometimes they're able to quickly address them. Sometimes it takes the next patch cycle. But we do a full assessment, not just an AI assessment, a full assessment, tested assessment of those security patches. And then we provide a report of that. And then whether we block those patches or we approve them, and really makes it easy for those partners to be able to utilize that out-of-the-box assessment, especially of those security patches. One of the other things that NOC team does is we build a lot of out-of-the-box tasks. What we do is we build out a couple hundred scripts that let you do almost anything. I'll just kind of find a good example down here. Let's take this. Let's see, configure start menu. No, that's not a very fun one. Let me just search for something like DNS. There we go. Configure DNS settings. That's easy. We have, as I mentioned, a ton of out-of-the-box scripts. And if you want to see what any one of those are, you can just open up, get a preview of that script, copy it off, test it out. We know most of our technicians don't want to run something on a device unless they know what's really sitting inside of it. And then the ability to schedule that to run on all sorts of queues. But one of the things I thought I would talk about is a few years ago, almost 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, we implemented AI for the first time in script generation. And we've made a number of enhancements around AI in general, but specifically around generating PowerShell scripts. We do this both in Automate and in RMM. And I'll just come up with an example generated script here. Let's just say we want to max Win 11 battery life and see what kind of script it comes out with. But we do a bunch of actually secondary and post processing on these scripts that are generated by AI. And you can say download and test it, but I'll just move down here. It's a little easier to read. For example, ensuring that every line is always documented completely. The worst thing that we see people early on is they might save 30 minutes writing a script, but then they spend 40 minutes trying to reverse engineer what AI put together. So instead, we try to make sure that that's really clearly well defined. But it's a really great tool to bring in AI directly into the console. And you'll see AI in a lot of other areas, but this is one that wanted to highlight for today. So we have, as we talked about, deep visibility, whether that's RMM and monitoring, security and integrations or backup. But what brings all that together, all of that visibility to combine with all of those tasks and actions that we can run is a orchestration tool. We call that workflow. Yep, I'll go ahead and leave this and abandon. I'm not really saving that script. Is a workflow editor. And so I'm just going to create a workflow here, call this an example. As every workflow has, we have a set of triggers and conditions and actions and tasks. That trigger can be almost anything that's already existing in the console, or I could call it natively, but I could go look at maybe when a company is created in PSA. These are a bunch of tasks I want to do. We have the kind of the full ability to take all of these products that are coming into ASIO that have triggers or events and utilize that as the trigger of a workflow. The ability to take actions, whether those are actions that come from a third-party tool, an action within ASIO, or some tool that integrates within ASIO. Pretty simple to just take an out-of-the-box action. You can always define your own, but we also talked for a minute about tasks. Just to use this one as an example, we could take some sort of, execute some sort of script. Maybe we'll try to use that same one. I think it was DNS something, configure DNS settings. So that same script that we showed, we can add that same script pretty quickly into a workflow, but do beyond that. Go pull in RPA bots, put in for each loops. It's really a pretty comprehensive what you see is what you get workflow builder. We've got a great webinar on this every Thursday, as well as the day before automation, or the day before security, we have Automation Nation that first week in June in Orlando. Love for you to come and join us as we go through workshops of building out these scripts. I don't have a lot of time today to go through this, but let's just jump back quickly to a couple of the other innovation and webinars that we do have out today, coming out this week. So both myself and Amit on Thursday will be going through the RMM product innovation webinar. We'll talk about what's happened the last month or so, what's coming over the next 6 months. And we'll kind of continue this discussion on what does it really mean to drive together the new perfect norm, bringing together RMM and security and workflow all inside a single ASIO platform. I hope you join us.